Hello humans, demons, and whoever you are, Livius here! The Transformers, much like other 80s franchises, don't need an introduction. Created by Bob Budiansky, Jim Shooter, and Dennis O'Neil, the war between the Autobots and Decepticons have been adapted multiple times. From cartoons, comics, video games, anime, and hit-or-miss live-action movies. I got into Transformers thanks to Animated, Prime, and the High Moon video game duology. Those two video games cemented my love for the franchise. But I don't want to talk about those masterpieces just yet. But I do want to talk about the first Transformers movie ever, even predating the Michael Bay movie by 20 years. Transformers, the movie. With it being the 40th anniversary of the franchise, and Transformers 1 around the corner, or it's already out by the time this video gets uploaded. Who knows, point is, I think now is the perfect opportunity to revisit this movie and see if it still holds up. But first, some history. Transformers, despite being Hasbro's cash cow, weren't actually the ones who made the toys. Before the Autobots and Decepticons were a concept, the Transformers toys existed as two lines by Takara, called Diaclone and Microchange in Japan. Hasbro execs seeing potential in these figures, importing them to the West, as well as commissioning Marvel to do a backstory and lore for these transforming robots, leading to the creation of the Marvel comic and animated series in 1984. Since then, the franchise became a commercial hit, obliterating its original competition, the GoBots, and of course, receiving a movie in the year 1986, nearly 1.5 years after the original cartoon came out. I want to go on a tangent here real quick. A movie based off a cartoon was made in 1.5 years. I'm so used to the idea of cartoons like SpongeBob or The Simpsons taking 5 years, if not longer, to get a motion picture based off it. So to see a cartoon get a movie so soon was rare and surreal to me. But after doing some research on other movies based off cartoons, some were also released in a similar time frame. But back on topic. This movie is about the next generation of Autobots, most of them being made for the movie, fighting the Decepticons and using this plot MacGuffin known as the Matrix of Leadership to destroy Unicron before he eats Cybertron. And Megatron does some things. I forgot what they were.
Such heroic nonsense.
Oh yeah, now I remember. He killed fan-favorite characters. Except for my boys Soundwave, Grimlock, and Wheeljack, son of a bitch. You know, with the many deaths in this movie, I'm surprised Cliffjumper didn't die. If you know, you know. Instead of grieving the characters we just lost, how about we talk about the characters we still have? Like Rodimus, Cup, and Wheelie. I think I get why 80s kids were scarred for life. They had to deal with fucking Wheelie. But anyways, Hot Rod, played by Judd Nelson, is the brash, impulsive, but endearing kid appeal character. So in other words, he's basically Bumblebee but red. The other Bumblebee but red. While I do prefer the Cyberverse version, G1's Hot Rod is a decent character. He has his own character arc of becoming the reckless punk that's always breaking the rules, to a fully mature Autobot leader. Enjoy him while it lasts, because once he becomes Optimus Prime, it's all downhill from here.
It's as beautiful in death as it was in life.
Well, no need to get all mushy. Cybertron's a better place anyway. Not so perfect.
Ultra Magnus, played by Robert Stack, is Optimus Prime at home. Jokes aside, he's actually pretty cool, acting more as a humble and serious second in command of the Autobots. Fun fact, Ultra Magnus' design never came from the movie, but instead the power convoy from Diaclone. And his first appearance wasn't in the movie either, but instead made his first appearance in the Lost episode Scramble City. Up is the wise old man who tells his PTSD war stories and acts as a mentor for the next generation, even though he never shown up in the first 2 seasons. I guess the writers had to make a character to fulfill that role since Ironhide's dead. Blur doesn't add much to the plot, but he's still a neat character, being a super fast hyperactive data carrier, even talks fast, which gets a little annoying but it's toned down over the years. Outside of the comics, Springer doesn't get a lot of love, which is a shame because Springer is an awesome character. He's one of the first Autobot triple changers. For those who don't know what triple changers are, it's a transformer with 2 modes, and act like a charismatic action heroes with cheesy and quotable one-liners and all.
I got better things to do tonight than die.
That was close.
Believe it or not, this is the fun part.
Arcee is one of the first female Autobots. She was a compassionate, gentle warrior, a mother figure for the human character Daniel, and might have a thing for Hot Rod or Springer. However, she sadly did not receive a toy of her own. There was a prototype, but it ended up being cancelled. I guess Wheelie was more of a priority than her. Speaking of him, Wheelie is a small Autobot who rhymes every time he has to say something. And he said, I know he's going to say that makes me wish Huffer was still fucking alive. Oh yeah, Huffer died, but it was off screen. Which raises the question, did almost every Autobot die off screen? But moving on, we have one of our antagonists of the movie, Megatron. I want to cover Megatron first because I want to save Optimus for the very end. But as I was saying, Megatron is the same villain you know and love from all media. Leader of the Decepticons, bucket-headed tyrant, and voiced by Frank Welker until he becomes Galvatron, which he's voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. Come out, Autobot! We all must die sometime.
There is also Scourge and Cyclonus, but they don't really do anything other than being henchmen for Galvatron and our last character, Unicron. Unicron is a planet-sized mechanical god who can consume and destroy other planets. His goal is to destroy the Autobot matrix of leadership, as that is the only thing that will kill him. Fun fact, he was played by the late Orson Welles and ended up being his final performance before he passed away a week ago.
The Matrix has not been destroyed. And Ultra Magnus lives on the planet of junk. Stalk him, tear him apart, and destroy the Matrix.
The animation for this movie was produced by Toei, known for a bunch of anime, as well as made season 1 and 2 of Transformers. You can tell it has that anime influence. The characters look smooth and fluid, the backgrounds are detailed, having this mechanical look to them, or otherworldly vibes, and the fight scenes are absolutely amazing in this movie. And the soundtrack is pretty great too, with lots of techno, metal, and pure 80s rock, with artists like Vince DiCola, Stan Butch, and Weird Al Yankovic for some reason. We're able to make a memorable soundtrack with songs like The Touch and Dare to Be Stupid being stuck in your head. I want to play the songs here, but I don't want to risk copyright, or at least the vocal tracks. However, like all movies before and after it, it does have its issues, like characters being one note and not having arcs with the exception of Hot Rod and Megatron, the movie's plot getting all over the place, with scenes like the Quintesson Court and the planet of junk dragging on, and having nothing to do with the main overarching story. The Quintessons do get better over time in the cartoon, but I just don't care for the Junkions themselves. They're not really interesting characters as individuals, but I did like the idea of them talking TV.
Yes, friends, act now, destroy Unicron, kill the Grand Poobah, eliminate even the toughest stain. No fuss, no muss. Hurry, 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 sail must end, rush right on down and test drive latest model with no obligation. New improved Junkion Planet is sleek, sexy import with turbo handling.
As much as I love the animation, some scenes can get too flashy and can give people a seizure while looking at it. I think it's best to warn people ahead of time who has epilepsy. I want to point out something I've noticed real quick. I want to believe the writers hate the Insecticons for some reason. One of them got blasted by Prime, one of them got run over by a kid, all three of them been thrown overboard by Starscream and Kickback. What did the Insecticons do to deserve this? Before we wrap up, I want to address one last thing I've been saving for the end. The death of Optimus Prime. Optimus wasn't just an action figure Hasbro could just sell over and over again. He's a timeless hero for generations of fans and a role model to look up to. Regardless how the live action movies want you to believe, he taught us to value our dreams, sometimes revenge isn't worth it, and to not let sacrifices be for nothing. And that was just D1. I could go over the many different adaptations of the character, like the Unicron trilogy, Animated, Prime, Cyberverse, the High Moon video games, and the recent Skybound comics, expanding upon to Optimus's character. So seeing Optimus die on the big screen was shocking and heartbreaking for those who watched it at a young age. Fans even blamed Hot Rod for Optimus's death at the time, when it's more Hasbro's fault for discontinuing not just Prime but everyone else they killed off in the toy line. But I digress. But here's my perspective. Optimus was doing everything he can and probably more to save the new recruits, so they can continue the fight even if it was Optimus's last battle. It gives G1 Optimus a satisfying send-off. showing his humanity and compassion, as well as having one of the most epic fights with Megatron. Am I overanalyzing a dumb robot cartoon that's sole existence is to sell toys from the 80s? Perhaps, but one quote that can resonate with so much people didn't actually came from Optimus Prime himself, but Peter Cullen's brother, Larry Cullen. He said to him when he was auditioning for the role, "If you're going to be a hero, be a real hero. Don't be one of those fake Hollywood types always yelling and trying to act tough. Be strong enough to be gentle." I think that's why I and many other people love Optimus as a character. He may be a fictional truck robot, but to us he's a hero, in a similar way Superman or Captain America are. Optimus was, and still is, a character that stood the test of time. If they were to kill him off in any continuity going forward, this is how to do it. And ever since that day, Optimus stayed dead and never came back.
Hang on, Autobots, it's not over. Optimus Prime returns February 24th and 25th on The Transformers.
This is quite a shock. On the other hand, it's not surprising in the least.
Transformers the movie is a cult classic for Transformers fans, and a more enjoyable movie to go back to as opposed to Bayformers. I know that's not a very high bar to beat, but the fact that there are some good Transformers movies out there is enough. But do I recommend this movie for newcomers? Fuck no! New viewers will easily be confused without context. If you want to get into Transformers, go watch Bumblebee. Not only is it a great entry point for new fans, but also actually good. Anyways, with all that being said, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if you want to succeed at life, you gotta make a deal with hell. And oh, for Transformers 1, please be good.
The Transformers will return after these messages.